So you want to know how to make that major life change that you've been chasing after for a while? I'm going to tell you the secret. It's a very well-known and easy secret to be able to say, but it's not so hard to implement. The secret is consistency. Now, before you roll your eyes and click off this video, listen to what I'm here to tell you today. I'm not here to tell you about how consistency makes a difference in your life and yada, yada, yada. I'm here to talk to you about what actual consistency in real life looks like. If you don't know me, my name's Kirsten with Watersedgetarot, and we're going to talk about how to change our life with consistency today. So first, what does consistency really look like? Now, I know in your head, consistency is, well, if I say I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to be there 5 days a week, working out for 30 minutes at a time, and I have to do it every day, those 5 days a week. Yes, that is consistency, but that's very unrealistic consistency for a lot of us. So let's talk about what real life consistency can look like. For me, I have a treadmill. And my consistency is just getting on the treadmill as often as I can on a regular basis. So do I get on the treadmill every day? No. Do I get on the treadmill regularly? Yeah. So what's the difference between every day and regularly? Regularly is when my life is happening in a way where I'm not being curveball or I'm not having life thrown at me. I get on my treadmill. How long do I get on my treadmill? Well, at least a minimum of 5 minutes, but sometimes I'm on it for 20. For me, it doesn't matter how much time I put on my treadmill. It matters that I'm on my treadmill as much as I can be. Why does that matter? Because I feel more accomplished knowing I can get on my treadmill when I just get on it when it benefits me versus me being like, oh no, I was only on my treadmill twice this week. Well, why was I only on my treadmill twice this week? Well, if it was last week, it was because my office, power blew out in all my outlets, and guess what? A treadmill's not something easy to move. If it was the week before that, it was because it was Thanksgiving and I was hosting, and I had a lot of things I had to do and get ready for. Life happens. But what happens is I still made it a priority in days that I could make it a priority, and I didn't beat myself up on the days that I couldn't make it. So, regular consistent effort is what matters, but consistency isn't every day on the dot. I have to do it this way, unless that actually works for you. If you're those people, awesome, this video is not for you. If you're the person like me who struggles with that, this is who this video is for. Another thing that people talk about is that you're like, make it routine, make it, every day at 10 o'clock you do this thing. Yeah, that helps. Science has proven that, but that doesn't help everybody. Not in the beginning, at least. So we're going to use my treadmill example because it's easy and it's relatable for me. How often do I get on my treadmill? Whenever I need to on a regular basis. I probably walk on it about 4 to 5 times a week. I can't tell you specifically because I don't keep track of it in the sense of I have to do it this day and I have to do it this many times. I just know I can wake up, I can get on my treadmill in the morning, I can get in the afternoon, or I can get it in the evening, whenever I want. And that's what I'm getting at. Do it when it's convenient for you. Find a way to be able to say, I'm going to make this a priority and I'm going to do it when it's convenient. So for me, I try to get on my treadmill between the time I wake up and around the time of my lunch. So I just really want to be on my treadmill before dinner time because after dinner, I know that there's not going to be a lot of activity. I get busy after dinner and that's where another bulk of my day happens. So if I can do it before dinner, before I start cooking dinner, and after I wake up and before I start cooking dinner, I have that whole time zone to get on my treadmill. And I make it a priority to do it at some point during that time. And if I'm trying to figure out what I want for lunch and I'm not that hungry, I'll go walk on my treadmill and figure out what I want for lunch. I don't need to stare at my fridge. I know what's in my fridge. I'm the one who cooks. So I'll get on my treadmill and I'll listen to a YouTube video or a podcast or, music, and I'll just kind of let myself wander off for about 15, 20 minutes, and the next thing I know, I walked on my treadmill. So does it matter if I do it exactly when I wake up? Does it matter when I do it, at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? No, what matters is that I'm doing it. Now, is there some mornings when I really struggle to get up and I'm like, okay, I'm low on energy, I didn't sleep well last night, let's just try to get the blood pumping and get 5 minutes on the treadmill and then I'll work on it later? Guess what? That still counts even if I didn't work on it later because I got on the treadmill. That's what matters. to the point where I didn't have the treadmill for 5 days, okay? And that is 5 days for me to fall out of my habit, fall out of my routine that psychologists say takes, so much consistency, so many days to make. And yeah, it was a little hard to get back on after 5 days of being off of it in a row. But the truth is, after that first or second time, I fell real back into my regular routine. I fell back into let's make sure we do the treadmill today. And like at noon, I thought, have I been on the treadmill? No, I'll do it after lunch. It was real easy for me to get into it because I wasn't focused on the fact that I still have 3 other days I can get my 1 day on that treadmill in. No, because guess what? Now I'm rationalizing it. Now I'm making it something that has to be done on a deadline or a time frame instead of something I want to do for myself, that I want to do to help change my life, to make me a better person in my own way. So that's the next thing. It's easy to be consistent about something when you know the real reason why you want to be consistent at it. Because let's be real here, if we're going to be consistent at something, this thing has to actually matter to us. Why are you going to spend a little bit of your time so often on a regular basis to something you don't give 2 snaps about? So we need to do something that matters to us. So for me, it's just about being healthier and getting the energy that I need in order to do the things I want to do. Getting on that treadmill on a regular basis helps me gain the stamina, helps me keep the energy I need in order to be the active person that I am. Another example of, doing something on a regular basis is making sure I'm drinking water. Okay, I like to try to make sure I'm drinking water. I like to try to make sure I'm drinking water more often than I'm not. But there's still days where all day all I've had is caffeine until I'm like, oh snap, it's 8 o'clock at night and I need to drink water because I feel dehydrated. That doesn't mean I'm not consistently drinking water. It doesn't mean I'm not regular drinking water. It doesn't mean that one day that I fell off ruins everything. It just means tomorrow I need to put a little more effort into it. So let's get off the fact that it doesn't have to be daily and it just has to be regular. Let's get off the fact that it has to be on a routine every time basis. Let's get off the fact that it has to be a certain goal. I told you I'm happy if I get on the treadmill. A minimum 5 minutes on treadmill isn't a lot for me, but it could be a lot for you. So what if your minimum on the treadmill was 1 minute? That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. What if you're someone who, drinks a lot of water and a lot of pop and a lot of juice and really struggles to drink water? So what if your minimum is just to drink the 1 cup of water, which that's my minimum on a regular basis. But if this is something that you just have to incorporate on a regular time to make it so that way, you can incorporate more, go for it. Take it in the steps that you have to. Don't compare yourself to other people. Your tiny steps of progress are your tiny steps of progress. Be proud of your progress. Be proud of your tiny steps. And don't get upset because someone else can do it quicker, someone else can do it better, someone else can do it faster. You need to do it at your own pace and your own speed because only you understand your own obstacles. Because here's another issue that happens with consistent change, like life-changing change that happens with consistency, is a lot of times we're working against our own programming. Our own programming is like, you're doing something different that makes us uncomfortable. Can we go back to doing the comfortable thing? So then you're going to have to work through, why does this make me uncomfortable? Why am I, wanting to drink all this pop instead of drink the water? Why am I wanting to just sit on the couch and play on my phone instead of just doing, 10 minutes on the treadmill? You have to work through that a little bit. It's kind of unavoidable. And that's why when we do this, we need to allow it to be something that matters to us, and we need to celebrate our own tiny progress. Another thing that really helps with consistency is doing it when you don't feel like it. Now, this is something that bugged me real bad because I'm like, okay, that sounds easy, or that sounds like you're just, trying to make this easy when it's not, because I have ADHD. So there's been times where I've really wanted to do something, but I physically could not get myself up to do it. So it was one of those where it's like, it's not a matter of me, just doing it when I don't want to do it. There's an actual barrier in place for me. So I had to kind of sidestep this. I had to work around it. How do I work around it? Is I'm like, okay, why don't I want to get on the treadmill today? Because I just want to sit here and do nothing. And then I ask myself, well, what does sitting here do nothing accomplish? And if the answer is nothing, I'm like, well, is there a way that we can accomplish something? And I just kind of have to work with my brain. Now, that's a little ADHD trick that I'm using that can help maybe some of you out there, but there's another underlying thing here too. If you're not sure if the reason why you're avoiding doing this thing has to be in the category of self-care, or it's just because you're not feeling it in the moment, ask yourself, why don't I want to do this thing? If the real reason is because you got 3 hours of sleep last night and you just need to get a good night's rest and recover from whatever chaos happened, cool, that is a very valid reason. If the reason is because you're extremely stressed and you haven't had a moment to do anything in your life except for just respond to the constant chaos, okay, cool. But if your only reason is because you just rather be on your phone, or your only reason is I just don't want to, or your only reason is it doesn't sound fun, that's the time when maybe you should at least just try to do your bare minimum. And I'm just asking you to do your bare minimum. I'm not even asking you to go above and beyond. Do that minute on the treadmill. Just drink that 1 glass of water, or even just drink a drink of water out of the glass. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we keep implementing it, because the little things that we do compound and add up over time. Someone once told me, and I've heard this from other people, is committed, consistent, imperfect action. Committed, consistent, imperfect action means that even if it's not to the standard I want to hold it up to, as long as I'm still doing it, that's what matters. Because the more you do it even inconsistently, the more you even do it irregularly on a regular basis, and this is why I'm saying regular, not consistent, because consistency to me sounds like I have to do it every day, or I have to have just a strict routine schedule with it. So if you do it on a regular basis, if you do it on a time frame that works for you and it becomes habitual in your own way, that's what matters. Last thing that I'm going to say about, actually there's 2 more things, I apologize. I'm going to say about making change is if you fall off the bike. And what I mean by fall off the bike is we all have those moments where it's like, okay, I haven't hit the gym in over 2 weeks. I need to get back into the gym. Give yourself the grace to start over. Don't just get back into the gym going 5 days a week if that's what you worked yourself up to. Just be happy you did it for twice that week. That's cool. When we have to kind of start over, we have to start over, unfortunately. It's not something bad. It's not impeding your progress, because the truth is it's going to be like riding a bike. When you get back on the bike and you start over, you're going to be a little sore, you're going to be a little slow, and then eventually you're going to pick up speed quicker than when you initially were. It's going to take an easier time for you to get back into it, but you also have to give yourself the grace to not be where you were 2 weeks ago or 5 days ago or whatever your situation is. Give yourself grace to reintegrate it back into your life. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is we want to make life-lasting change and we want to be consistent. It's really important to focus on one change at a time. And I don't care if that one change at a time is something that you think is minuscule that you can add on top of other things. If you're consciously trying to change something, your mind is going to be overwhelmed if you're trying to do 2 or 3 things new at that same time. Because when we're doing new things, our brain literally has to create neural pathways. It has to create and move gray matter around to make these neural pathways to say, this is something that we're okay with doing. We don't have to worry about the program. We're on board with this. So if you're trying to get yourself to make 2, 3, 4 changes at the same time, you're trying to get your brain to make 4 different new neural pathways in your brain to do things that you want. And your brain's probably going to short circuit and say, we're not doing this anymore. This is too hard. We really just want to sit on the couch and watch this really good TV show or read this awesome book because you're asking us to do a lot. But if you can master a small change in a matter of 4 weeks, which is not a lot of time, honestly, it seems like a lot of time, but it's not when it comes to doing these types of things. Making muscle memory in 4 weeks is not a lot of time. Making a new routine, making a new activity in 4 weeks is not a lot of time. And I'm not saying it has to be mastered. All I'm saying is if you can make it something that the neural pathway is already there, then go ahead and start the next thing. then you can work on making both changes at the same time, because one already has a progress with you. One already has a connection that you made, and then go to the next one. So when I say mastered, I mean, it doesn't have to be something that you're super disciplined on and like, I'm going to do it every day for the next 5 days of my life, you know, whatever. When I say another version I was talking about when I said master is that, you know, you just have to have it down. You have to understand the muscle memory. You have to understand how it's going to work for you. So what does consistency look like in the real life? It looks sloppy. It looks not like a bunch of check marks, you know, boxed off in your little grid of your habit chart. It looks like I couldn't complete this day and I'm going to have self-love to say that's okay. It looks like last week I was there at the gym 6 days a week and it felt amazing, but this week I can only be there 2 days because of everything I have going on in my life, and I'm going to be okay with that because I know I can do 4 days next week. Because I'm going to consistently put what I want done in my brain to achieve the goal I want to achieve. So that's what I got for you today. In the description or in the comments below, let me know what it is that you're trying to change, so that way we can possibly work and come up with some kind of game plan that works for you. Let me know how your sloppy, change is working for you, and tell me how you're willing to adapt to a real life idea of what consistency looks like. If you're interested in private coaching, there's also a link down in the description below. Go ahead and click on it. Everyone else, thank you for making it this far in the video. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you another time.